Hello and welcome to Monday Mindfulness. It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, and as usual with our mindfulness sessions, we're going to go through and just explore some of the senses, explore some of the human experience, and just observe it. There's no judgment here, uh, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just exploring and doing a best effort for now to be mindful, be aware of what's happening in this moment. And the techniques will vary from week to week. And this week, I'm feeling like working with the tongue, but if that changes, we may do something else. So what we'll do for starters is we'll just have a quick few minutes of checking in with the body and just seeing what your human experience is like today. So close your eyes down and take a few really deep breaths. And just relaxing on the exhale. And just keep the breath long and deep as you just feel for any emotions in the body. Notice any sensations that stand out. Any tension. Anything that you feel you've brought into this practice. Any residue of the day so far. Just relax into it. Allow whatever you experience to be what it is and be experienced. Just stay open. And building that breath up again. And slowly moving your fingers and toes. Opening your eyes and coming back to the room. Adjusting in any way that your body's asking for. For me, I noticed a bit of tension in my left hip and quad. And yeah, I just want to do some yoga and stretch after this and really honor that. And I also feel pain in my upper back lately, and it feels really pain-free, a little bit tired, but really pain-free today. So I'm enjoying that and doing some rehab work with that little injury as well. So overall, my body's feeling pretty good. It just needs a bit of a stretch. And I feel like a bit of urgency this morning because I've got a busy day ahead of me, and just letting that wash over and letting it pass through and just trusting that I can be here and feel this urgency, and just be really present with what's in front of me, and be here for whatever I'm doing in this moment, or for being in this moment, and then just making space to do whatever I can moving forward for the rest of the day. But I don't need to get lost in the urgency. I can just ride that like a wave. So yeah, I feel that, and yeah, it's something that I'm not trying to hold on to or make too much logic out of. I'm just experiencing and embracing in itself. So what I would do is listen to you guys, check in as well and share. I encourage you to pause the video now and just verbally say how you're feeling, and feel free to share anything in the comments as well. I'm always honored to hear how your experience is going and how the meditation is impacting your awareness. So now we're going to do a simple exercise exploring the tongue. It's an amazing thing to become aware of. This guy, yes, the tongue. And it's going to be just tuning in, feeling the sensations, feeling it as a muscle. And then we'll go and do some voice work and maybe even some chanting. And we'll just stay with the tongue through this whole practice. So if you get distracted at any point, you might get distracted by mental stories, other sensations. If there's something really important, you may need to leave the practice altogether. But as you are aware of it, that you're distracted away from the tongue, do your best and be practical with it and loving and accepting with it to come back to the tongue. So come back to the awareness of the tongue and the practice as you can. So we're going to close our eyes again and just feel the tongue in the mouth. Just feel it as it's relaxed in its normal state. You might be aware of sensations on the surface of the tongue. You might be aware of it as a muscle, getting warm or feeling a little bit of tension or strain. You might even be aware of the root of the tongue, where it attaches in the mouth. And how far down can you feel that? I feel it almost connected to my heart. Feels like a really meaty connection in the back of the throat as well. You might notice the saliva around the tongue as well. Just be aware. Do your best to relax the tongue. And now bring your tongue into contact with the roof of the mouth, the hard palate up there, and just hold it in one place with a little bit of tension. Notice how that feels. Notice how it feels at the tip of the tongue, in the meaty central part of the tongue, and in the root point of the tongue. Stay with it. And now just relax the tension while still keeping the tongue in contact with the roof of the mouth in one place. If you need to swallow, that's okay. Just be aware of the tongue as that happens. And then come back to gently, effortlessly placing the tongue at the root of the mouth, the hard palate at the top. Just noticing the tongue. And now we're going to do a bit of an exploration. We're going to just feel with the tongue the whole of the roof of the mouth. Staying in the contact with the roof of the mouth and the tongue. Feeling that connection. Staying in the moment. The current sensation, not the sensation from a few seconds ago, or the sensations coming up, just this one. And bring the tongue to the front upper teeth, pushing on them slightly, gently. Noticing the ways that the tongue can behave. Now pushing on the lower teeth slightly and notice the difference. Notice how the tongue adapts. And now just bringing the tongue back up to the hard palate on the roof of the mouth. And just touching it with the very tip of the tongue. So the very tip of the tongue touching the roof of the mouth. And then slowly bringing the tongue so that as much surface area as possible is on the roof of the mouth. Notice how it spreads out. And then coming back to just the tip of the tongue. And then spreading it out again. In your own time, alternating between the two, with presence and awareness. And now with the tip of the tongue, just placing it in one of the four corners of the mouth, so left, right, front, back. Alternate the order as you feel fit. Just dancing around the mouth, jumping from one corner of the mouth to the other. And just relax. Relax the tongue, relax the jaw. Just breathing and observing. Stay with it, completely relaxed. Okay, now we're going to bring our awareness completely to the tongue. Be aware of each subtle movement and sensation in the tongue. Follow it. Follow it with grace and just present moment commitment. Being there for each subtle movement, each subtle experience that the tongue has. And we're going to say our name. So I'll be saying Ian, you say your name. whatever that is. Ian, 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 Ian. Notice how the tongue behaves before, during, and after saying your name. Ian, 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 Ian. And notice if you say it with a smile, how the tongue reacts. Is it any different? Ian, 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 Ian. Just take a moment to relax the tongue. Observe and notice the moment. If you notice the tongue wants to hold a little bit of tension, that's okay. Just breathe and observe. If you can surrender that tension, see how it feels. Now we're going to do a little bit of mantra. The mantra we're going to use today, and be mindful to stay with the tongue through the process. Notice what the tongue has to do to make these sounds, to sing this song. We're going to sing Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. And that means may all beings be happy and free. So just in your own time, singing along with me. If you get distracted by anything, that's okay. Make a best effort to come back to the tongue. The awareness of the movement the contact that it makes, the vibrations that it feels, being present with the tongue. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Just embrace all the sensations, the tongue, the feelings in the body, anything that you experience, just open to all of it in this moment. Make space for every sensation. Drink it all in and just be here and now. So, saying thank you to your tongue for being such an amazing guide today. Thank you. And just slowly moving your fingers and toes, stretching if you need it. And gently opening your eyes and coming back to the room. Thank you very much for joining us on Monday Mindfulness today. It's been great to be able to share with you. I'd love to hear your experiences on what was happening for you and how the meditation has been for you. Any check-ins are more than welcome in the comments as well on what's happening. I just feel in bliss. And also, just for a little insight, if you heard some noises in the background, that was this beautiful lady here who doesn't usually sit in with me on these meditations, but today she did because she was sleeping on the bed and I didn't have the heart to wake her up. So you have a wonderful week and thank you for joining me on Monday Mindfulness today. And have a beautiful day, beautiful week, and thank you for being you. Aho.